So till now we have covered 4 abstract data types. We talked about array, stack, queue, and list. Okay. So in this video, let's see how to implement the first 3 abstract data types using the list abstract data type. Okay. So let's first start with, say, stack. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to have a stack, but underlying it I would have a list L. Okay. So let's go back to the definition of the stack that we had previously. So this is array, where is stack? This is my stack. Okay. So previously we had the stack with us, and then we talked about storing various entries in our stack, and then we defined this behavior of the stack. Okay. So no matter how we implement the stack, the behavior should remain the same. Okay. So what will happen is, in case of stack, I will have operations, say create new. Okay. So I have to create new stack, and the way we defined it, we have to create it with certain capacity C. So the stack should store at the most C elements. So what should I do is, in create new, first of all I have to remember what is the capacity of the stack. So in stack I will have a variable called, say, capacity. Okay. And I will set my capacity equal to C, and I'll also need to keep track of how many elements I have. So let's call it, say, a value count. Okay. So how many values I'm storing, and I'll say that my value count is equal to 0. Okay. So capacity I have set to C, and value count I have set it to 0. And then I have to create an empty list. So I'll say L dot create new. Okay. So that's how I will create a new stack. And next operation that we need to talk about is checking if I need to push onto my stack. That's the main operation that we have to define. But if you remember, for stack, again let's go back and check what things we had. So when we created the stack, see, we said that first we have to check if our stack is full, and if it is not full, then we were storing the element. Okay. So we will need something similar. So for that we need to implement now is full operation. So I'm going to have is full operation of my stack. And now how will I know if my stack is full? Well, if the number of values that I'm storing is equal to the capacity. So that's how is full will work. So I will say that if my val count is equal to my capacity, in that case I'm going to return true. Otherwise I will return false. So that's my is full operation, and with is full operation under my belt, I will go and now define my push operation. So now I'm going to push a value v onto the stack, and what is going to happen is I'll ask question if it's full, returns me true. If yes, I will return an error. If it is not full, then what I should do? Then what I should really do is I should create a new node. Okay, so create new node of the list. So I will say that create new list node, with value v. Once I create this list node, I'll assume that this function returns me address to the node, okay, and I'll take that node address and I will send it to my list for adding at the end l dot add at the end, and then I need to update my val count. But now even the list can tell me how many elements are there in the list, okay. So in the alternate implementation, what I can do is I can remove my val count variable. I don't really need it, okay, and I can say that I'm going to access the list dot length, or I'm going to call function l dot get length. So instead of explicitly maintaining the val count, what I can do other way is that I will call l dot get length, okay. I'll call this function. So let's try to avoid having extra variable. Let's try to do as many things as possible with our list. So I have added element to list, and then list will take care of updating the length. We don't have to do anything explicitly. So I have added a new element to the end of the list, and that's my push operation. And then for my pop operation, I would require, so let's first compare this push with the push that we had with arrays, okay. So let's see what is different, what is same, okay. So here is our push operation implemented now versus the push operation that we had for a stack which had array at the heart, okay. So first part is same. For second part, we directly stored element in array, but we are maintaining the value count that was required, but that is not required in case of list, and we are adding element at the end of the list, okay. If I add element at the end of the list, remember what is going to happen. We are going to go to the last node in the list, and then we are going to add one extra node, okay. That's the way add end works out, okay. So now we have to consider the pop operation, and for pop we require is empty operation. So I'm going to have is empty operation, and now we will do it simply in terms of the list. So we'll basically return the result of l dot is empty. If list is empty, the stack is empty. If list is not empty, the stack is not empty, okay. And now let's go and have our pop operation. So I'll check if is empty operation of my stack, and if it returns me true, I should return an error, okay. You cannot pop from an empty stack, so I return error, and that's where I'm done with the empty. However, if my stack is not empty, then what should I do? Then what I should do is I should delete from the end of my list, okay. That's how my pop would work. So I'll say that l dot delete from end, and that would give me address of a particular node. So let's store that address in list node. Let's call that variable l node, and now I have got the address of this node, and I will return my l node dot value, okay. That's the value stored in that node, and that's how my pop will work. And whenever I delete from my list, the list would take care of updating the length, so I don't have to do it explicitly, okay. So this is just one way of implementing stack using a list. There could be many different ways, okay. For example, to simulate the push I am adding at the end, you can say that I will add at the beginning, okay, and then similarly you would have delete from the beginning, okay. That could be one way, okay. Other way you can do this is you might create the list of size capacity right at the beginning. Here what is happening is whenever I do push, I actually add a new element to my list, and whenever there is delete, I remove an element from the list. But you don't have to do it that way. So what you can do is you can create a list of certain size right at the beginning, and then you can simply go and change the values in the corresponding nodes. Okay, and that's not too difficult. I will leave that as homework to you. And if you face the problem in writing down the pseudocode for these alternative implementations, please do ask me your doubts, your problems in the interactive session that we have scheduled every Monday afternoon. Okay, so that's one way to implement stack using list as abstract data type. And please understand, we haven't talked about how list is implemented here. Okay, so list could be singly linked list, doubly linked list, or list itself could be implemented using another abstract data type. Okay, for example, if my list is singly linked list, then my pop operation requires deletion from the end, and this would require linear time complexity. However, if my list is a doubly linked list, then the same operation can be completed in the constant time. Okay, so the implementation details matter when you have to decide the efficiency, but to understand the logic, we don't really have to worry about how list is implemented. Here we are just defining the behavior. Okay, so that's about stacks using list.